Bitch.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy care package incoming. We've lost the lead.
Good camping. Have a chopper? Dude, you were camping your fucking ass off. Blast that motherfucker out of the sky.
After breaking out of 2 different Mexican max security prisons. In 2014, El Chapo's lawyers got in contact with King Del Castillo, an open letter to Guzman in 2012, expressing sympathy and asking him to spread love instead of dealing drugs. El Chapo was a fan and wanted to have an exclusive interview with her. However, King
y'all want to camp? I'm gonna camp too. Fuck
later in 2015, Kate and a man named Champagne agreed to do this interview with El Chapo in the mountains of Sinaloa. However, this interview gave the DEA and Mexican armed forces intel on that location, leading to his third arrest and extradition to the United States. Number 4, Sandra Villa Beltran. Sandra, aka the Queen of the South, is a former Mexican drug dealer who has done her time behind bars. She's the daughter of Maria Luisa Beltran Felix and is related to Rafael Caro Quintero, the former leader of the Guadalajara cartel. Growing up, Sandra was already a part of the drug trafficking trade that her parents and relations were heavily involved in. So as a young adult, Sandra dated several well-known drug lords in Mexico. She was married twice, with both her husbands being ex-police commanders who eventually became drug traffickers. However, Sandra gained notoriety in the narcotics underworld after entering into a relationship with one of the major cocaine suppliers from Colombia, Juan Diego Espinosa Ramirez, aka the Tiger. The Tiger was one of the leaders of the Colombian Norte de Valle cartel, one of the major cartels shipping cocaine to Mexico before it was smuggled to the U.S. Soon enough, Sandra began shipping cocaine into the U.S. through her use of speedboats off the coast of the U.S. border, streamlining millions of dollars into her pockets and also earning her name, the Queen of the South. But in 2001, everything came crashing down when police found 9 tons of cocaine on a ship in the Pacific port of Manzanillo, Colombia. The shipment was traced back to Sandra and her lover. And again in 2002, Sandra unexpectedly contacted authorities for help when her teenage son was kidnapped for a $5 million ransom. She paid that ransom, But since she was already under investigation by police, the Mexican authorities began questioning her source of income. And well, it didn't take long to put that together and find out her true criminal identity, leading to her arrest on September 28, 2007, along with her partner Espinosa Ramirez. She was extradited to the U.S. in 2012 for her involvement in the 9 tons of cocaine shipment that was traced back to her. She was given a term of 70 months in prison, but was eventually released in just 4 and got deported back to Mexico. I don't know why the U.S. did that, but the Mexican government wasn't going to let it slide. She was rearrested, charged with money laundering, and sent to 5 more years of imprisonment. Lucky for her, she was released in 2015, and now lives a normal life in Guadalajara. Number 3. Gilberto Rodríguez Orejuela.
¿Cuál es la verdad de su participación en el episodio de Pablo Escobar?
Bueno, a ver, yo le cuento desde un principio por mi pasaje.
That was Gilberto, giving his very detailed story about the life of Pablo Escobar and the Medellin cartel before Pablo died. Gilberto, alongside his brother Miguel and another drug dealer, Jose Santa Cruz Londoño, formed the Cali cartel in 1975. They started off by selling marijuana, but when Pablo and the Medellin cartel began exploiting the very lucrative cocaine market, they decided to get in there as well. At first, they all worked together as one big cartel, but over time, personal interests began to kick in and animosity grew between them. Regardless, Gilberto knew a lot about Escobar and how he tried to save his family in the final days leading up to his death. After Escobar's death, though, Gilberto and the Cali cartel took full control of that cocaine market in Colombia. They supplied 80% to the U.S. through Rodriguez's son, Jorge Alberto Rodriguez, and 90% of the European cocaine market. However, his glory days and that of his cartel were short-lived. He was captured 2 years after Escobar's death and was extradited to the U.S. in 2004. Then in 2006, both him and his brother Miguel were sentenced to 30 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges of conspiring to import cocaine to the U.S. And in May 2022, Gilberto died at a prison medical center at the age of 83. Number 2, Double R.
We're all bad guys. That's the reality. Why? Because at the end of the day, the work is the same.
Like we said, as we go down this list, the ranking of cartel members just gets more intensified. What you just saw is the rarest cartel interview you would probably ever come across online. He's a high-ranking leader of the new Jalisco Generation Cartel, or CJNG. And his name is Ricardo Luis, a.k.a. Doble Ara. Double R started his criminal career in the town of Jalisco, but later on expanded to Michoacán, Guanajuato, and Zacatecas. He's the one many say is responsible for spreading and filming all those disturbing videos of CJNG members displaying their weapons. So if you've ever been traumatized by those videos, blame this guy. But anyways, we can see the man's extremely dangerous. You don't need us to tell you that. He's a freaking leader of the CJNG. These guys are ruthless. He's linked to the death of the Secretary of Tourism in Jalisco, Jose de Jesus Gallegos Alvarez, and he's said to be under the command of Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez, who in turn is considered the creator of El Mencho's elite groups. Double R has caused a lot of harm in the states he controlled. However, for a tough guy, his arrest was, and probably still is, one of the easiest of all crime lords in Mexico. Double R's fond of throwing some of his best parties for narco corrido singers, who write ballads about drug traffickers and their trade. He likes to invite guests, such as Luis R. Conriquez, who authorities refer to as Jalisco New Generation Cartel's exclusive singer. The Mexican army had a close eye on Conriquez's movements, and after intel revealed he was going to a party at a hidden ranch, the Mexican government still decided to stay quiet until 2 months later, when they went in to arrest Double R. He was successfully captured, but his men fought back, leading to his release. Double R is still a loose cannon in the streets, and is ready to shoot down anyone on the order of CJNG. And number 1, Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo.
Puesto que perdí todo. Perdí la sensibilidad, los oídos, los ojos. Han pasado 32 años.
This interview is disturbing in so many ways. Here's why. Miguel, who was known as the boss of bosses, spoke in an exclusive interview with Telemundo, where he revealed the harsh realities he's facing in prison. Miguel's one of the founders of the Guadalajara cartel in the 1970s, and is said to be one of the men who started the shipment of cocaine into the U.S. from Mexico. The Colombian cartel transported their product to Mexico through cargo planes, and then Miguel and his associates would arrange to ship that product into the U.S. through the U.S.-Mexican border. But instead of taking cash payments for their services, they took 50% of the product and sold it with their associates in the U.S. They raked in a whopping $8 billion annually for the Guadalajara cartel. However, Felix Gallardo was arrested on April 8, 1989. He was charged with the kidnapping and murder of DEA agent Enrique Camarena by both the Mexican and U.S. government, as well as his involvement in racketeering, drug smuggling, and multiple violent crimes. Felix Gallardo was initially sentenced to 40 years in prison, but after serving only 28, a 2017 retrial sentenced him to an additional 37 years. From this point on, he just became a shadow of himself. In the interview, it's revealed that Miguel Felix is suffering from deafness, loss of an eye, vertigo, and blood circulation problems. In his own words, he said,
"There's only one rule in this fucking jungle. When the lion's hungry, he eats."
I lost non-existent. I lost everything. I lost sensitivity. You wish to be the king of the jungle.
However, there might be a little luck here, because after more than 37 years